want to shoot you.
Mind if I shoot you?
Henry, has this ever happened to you before? Your own government trying to kill you?
Nah, that's new.
Everything that we've worked for is at stake.
I am just an icon living.
He has to die.
Oh, man. Okay. Gemini Man is the latest film directed by Ang Lee, who is primarily known for films like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Brokeback Mountain, and Life of Pi. So naturally, with that kind of a resume, you think this movie will be good, right? No, and sort of yes. Okay, let me explain. Will Smith plays Henry, an assassin working for a secret organization hoping to retire. It turns out that the latest target he took out was actually a biology expert and not a terrorist. Suddenly, his own organization is turning on him, and he and Dana, a boat renter he befriends, are on the run. Now, this is where it gets confusing. Apparently, the agency is after him because he went rogue, and there's another agency called Gemini, led by Quay Veras, trying to take Henry out. Apparently, Quay is a specialist in cloning that somehow was able to make a clone of Henry, whom Quay names Junior. Too bad you don't find that out until the end of the second act. This clone is out to hunt him down, or something. I don't know. Look, the plot is all over the place. It's too confusing and hard to follow. Even if you read a synopsis on the movie, it wouldn't explain all the numerous plot holes that are going on. And yes, I tried to pay attention to the plot, but let me tell you something. I don't think you can follow it either, because if I can't follow it, how can you? The problem is not the plot itself, but it's just the fact that it's nothing but exposition with no mystery at all. It's another case where this movie is refusing the age-old saying, show, don't tell. In other thrillers like 3 Days of a Condor, The Conversation, and any James Bond, Mission Impossible, or Hitchcock movie, the plots were intricate too, but they were understandable. You can watch those movies and understand what's happening. The plots had an idea, a setup, and the rest relied on how the plot flowed. It's like the spider was crafting a well-made web with patience and love for the art. Gemini Man is like that same spider crafting a web while in the Indy 500. I mean, seriously, this whole plot is a mess. A mess of... Okay, why is Henry's agency turning on him? Why does Gemini want to change everything with the whole cloning thing? I mean, Quay does say that Junior and his clones will prevent families from losing one of their family members in a war, which, okay, that's fine, but the setup is completely vague and underutilized. How did Quay get Henry's DNA anyway? How did he obtain this information? Why is the agency not doing anything about Gemini? Why? Okay, does anybody... I couldn't even follow this plot. The plot structure is all over the place. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the high frame rate. This film was shot at a high frame rate on 4K, 120 frames per second. Okay, I'll try and simplify it like this. Ang Lee shot this movie with a very high-tech camera that can record images in a very smooth way. Thus, everyone and everything moves like they're on ice. My friends and I saw this movie in Dolby, and honestly, guys, I didn't notice anything. We never saw it in 3D Plus, which is supposedly the best way to experience this movie. So maybe if I saw this movie like that, then maybe I'll get a taste of what Ang Lee was trying to get across. Except the fact that it won't change all the movie's real issues. It won't change the story, and it certainly won't matter when the movie gets released on DVD. Ang Lee tried this before, with Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk, and even though critically it did okay, it slumped at the box office. Either way, the extra high frame rate is pointless. Stop doing it. Stop trying to say that it will work, because it won't. BFX, okay. BFX, on a more positive note, are mostly good. There have been other movies and shows before where one actor played two identical characters, including The Parent Trap, Kissing Cousins, and The Patty Duke Show, to name a few. So the idea, or at least the concept, is nothing new. Some are done really well, and some not. But the way that this film did it is totally different. They actually used a combination of motion capture and de-aging, which that's interesting. The effects on Will Smith is actually pretty good for the most part. At the very least, it actually looks like Will Smith is interacting with his younger self instead of his clone being a CG person. The action scenes are well shot. Everyone is mostly in the frame. The best scene in this movie is where Will Smith is in Cambodia and he's fighting his clone, but he doesn't know it yet. They're moving around on buildings, going through alleyways, and riding on motorcycles. It's really entertaining. It actually reminded me of a Bourne movie. For a brief moment, I actually was having fun with this movie. But even then, I gotta be reminded that, oh yeah, there's a story centered around this. I mean, I can kind of see what this movie was trying to do. It was trying to be high tech and futuristic and all that. And that's fine, but you have to think of a story first. I mean, look at Ang Lee's other movies, including Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Brokeback Mountain, and Wife of Pi, even though I didn't really like that movie. I mean, it's obvious this movie's trying to change how movies are made without really thinking about the real fundamental reason that stories exist. The story. If a story isn't interesting, then to me, none of it really matters.
Yeah, reason why I did like Gemini Man is because Gemini Man has a lot of good intricacy of the CGI was good. If you like Will Smith has a good he's a good actor. To me, with Will Smith, when he does his acting, it feels like his acting is done well. The CGI is well done. His facial expression when he was crying was well done. Everything that I didn't like about this movie was well done. The story was is alright. It's pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. I had fun with it. There's a lot of action scenes, pretty good, decent scenes were in there.
Look, I mean, Will Smith is good in this movie, despite the fact that he has such like B-grade material to work with. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Clive Owen, Benedict Wong. I mean, Clive Owen has some good stuff, so they're good people. But the script, oh my god, the script, man, it's so lackluster and very wooden that it's almost like they're wasting their potential here. So yeah, I mean, the action scenes are done nicely, but the story is what matters, and the story here is very wooden. As far as the acting's concerned, that's fine. I mean, there actually was one scene that was actually pretty good, and that was when Will Smith as Junior had like a whole emotional moment with Clive Owen. That, I will admit, was actually well done. Everything's just standard here. There's nothing really interesting. There really isn't. I was disappointed. I really was. I thought this movie was going to be interesting, but no. All this movie wanted to do was focus on being extremely high tech and changing how movies were made and not really focusing on the story. No wonder why this movie went through developmental hell for years, because the movie had been rewritten so many times that there was just no focus. Look, there is good stuff in it, I will admit, but there are things about it that are not good. That's why I'm going to give this movie a 5. It is so average that to me, it just doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. And you may get a kick out of this movie, and that's great, but the story was very all over the place, unfocused, uninteresting even, and sometimes you just get bored by it. So yeah, I'm giving this movie a 5. If you want to see this movie, I don't know, you might have a better response to the movie if you see it in 3D Plus, but I'm telling you, it's really not gonna last long. This high frame rate thing, it's not gonna last long, I assure you of that. Overall, Gemini Man, boo, not good, but not horrendous either.
In my own opinion, what I thought about the movie is, if you're a Will Smith fan, you definitely will enjoy this film. It has a lot of action, even though the story is like all over the place, all kind of crazy looking. This movie is really fun and exciting. It has a lot of action to this film. It's Will Smith, and definitely will have a great time watching this film. And the CGI looks really, really good. And Will Smith, his acting is really phenomenal. In my opinion, that's the reason why it deserves an 8 for me. But this movie itself is really good. If you're a Will Smith fan, doesn't matter what format you see it in, it's still a good, decent film to see in theaters.